All right. Welcome back to the Target Individual Program, Target Individual Experience. So again, I'm going to explain to you guys, give you guys an example of what it is that they do. So I went to put my clothes in the dryer, all right, and the laundromat attendant, comes out from inside the booth, and every time I go back to get clothes from the washing machine, put it in the car, he will come out of the booth and stand up in front of the booth staring at me. And I'm just like, and then he starts staring up at the cameras. Right? I want you to understand how, like I tell him all the time, I said, listen, what it is y'all do don't make no damn difference to me. If I had the personality types that in which I would do something, I wouldn't give a damn if there was cameras there, right? Just like with many other TIs or many people who these people have manipulated to commit, crimes in which people end up being hurt. They don't care. They don't care. It is them. They're as I'm walking past the alleyway. Yeah, they're blowing their horn. Right? I'm telling you guys, it's what they do. All right? These sort of coercive threats. But anyhow, so I had my cane on top of the washing machine. All right? As I was taking my clothes out of the machine to dry them, put them in the dryer. So as I was finishing, I put the clothes in the machine, and I go back as I'm heading back to get my cane, right? They send, one of the perps in the laundromat, right? He walks into the laundromat, right? There's two doors. There's one where the dryers is at and one where the washing machine is at. He walks into the door where the dryer machine is at, where I was at, right? Walked past me very fast, right? As I'm heading to go get my cane, he goes to the machine where my cane is at, looks at my cane, and then walks out of the laundromat. See? So now that I'm walking home, as I get past the alley, they're blowing their horn. Hear the sirens? Again, these sorts of coercive threats, those sort of things. And so when I expose them, like I tell them, I said, there ain't no fear here. All right? If I get assassinated, they get assassinated. All right? You know what I'm saying? What they do to me will be done to them. Okay? And so this is what they're about. Because I don't follow, and you'll never get me back into believing in this religious bullshit. It's not going to work. All right. Did I ever, guys, ever show you this? How they started doing this? 666. 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. Right? Also, in the Bible, 666 doesn't represent the mark of the beast, but it represents Nero, Emperor Nero, who burnt Rome down and blamed it on the so-called Christians, right? Or the so-called Hebrews, I should say. Not even the Jews, but actually it's the Christians. So if you go and you look up the significance of 666 to Emperor Nero, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because in Revelation, they are talking about 666, meaning that a person who are in position of power and who commits some of the most atrocious crimes against the society is called another version of the Emperor Nero. Okay, so understanding how to interpret biblical texts, right, in this esoteric form, and not in the religious dogma that they give us, and that's just to manipulate us and to keep us dumbed down. All right, but meanwhile, when it comes to, they will also apply that to any revolutionary, because guess what? Revolutionary starts war. And what kind of war? War to overthrow those in power who use their power and authority to oppress the people within the nation, within the society, and so forth. Right? So it is a mindset, right? And whether it could be for good or bad, the intended purpose is to create war. All right, and the result of that war will dictate whether the future of that nation or that society will have a prosperous one where all of its people are prosper, where all of his people are uplifted, or a nation that would be subject to more subjugation and oppression. You need to understand these things. So they know, like I said, they know where to look within the society for revolutionaries, because that is what they're trying to prevent, particularly in an oppressive state, an oppressive nation like we live in. And I do say oppressive, right? Because we have oppression that's happening here. As I just described, you know, the military in the denial of promotions for black soldiers, for black, you know, and women also in the military, denying them promotion to become a one-star general and to further advance their career within the military, all right? And that's just one aspect, right? There's many more I can continue on, but, you know, to keep this video short, you know, just to give you guys real-world examples, right? Not shit that I'll say you have to believe me, but stuff that you need to know. All right, talk to you guys in the next video.